Hello and namaste. Like most people brought up in Chennai, I have lost count of the number of times I have visited Mamallapuram. Mahabalipuram, as it is commonly known, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site with exquisite monuments built as early as the 7th century by the Pallavas. I've been there with my parents and relatives, with my classmates on school field trips, with clients and colleagues from workplace, and even on guided tours with historians. If there was one thing I was absolutely certain about, it was this. There was no monument in Mamallapuram that I have not seen. I was mistaken, it seems. I recently heard about an ancient temple for Varaha Swami called Adi Varaha Temple in the heart of Mamallapuram. There is another monument called the Varaha Cave which most people visit. I am not talking about that one. Unlike the others, this cave temple is still in active worship. It is difficult to see this temple because the priest opens it only once for a short duration every day to perform the daily rituals. He locks the temple and leaves as soon as the rituals are completed. There is an exquisite sculpture of Varaha in the sanctum. He is sculpted on the rock face of the cave like all other sculptures of Mamallapuram. He is holding Bhuma Devi in his right arm. His lower left arm is gripping her leg. He has a Shankhu Chakram in the other two hands. There is a Naga couple near his feet. His right foot is resting on the Naga king. This is an old picture that I got from the priest of the temple, which is not very clear. I want to show you another Varaha in the Mamallapuram, which is almost identical to this one. If you are a regular visitor to Mamallapuram, you would have certainly visited this Varaha cave. Here too, he is holding Bhuma Devi in his right arm. His lower right hand is wrapped around her hips and the lower left hand is gripping her leg. You can feel the gentleness and love in the way he is holding her. It strikes a vivid contrast with the fierceness of his face. His right foot is resting on a Naga king. The image in the Adi Varaha temple is much bigger than this one. The Sthala Puranam of this temple is connected to another famous Varahaswami temple, the Nitya Kalyana Perumal temple. This temple is about 18 kilometers from Mamallapuram in a place called Thiruvidandai. The Pallava king Harikesari Varman was a staunch devotee of this Varahaswami. Every day he used to travel nearly 20 kilometers from Mamallapuram to Thiruvidandai to worship this god. Then he used to return to Mamallapuram and give Annadanam to poor people. One day, as he was leaving for the temple, an old man came to him carrying a girl child in his arms. He said they were very hungry and asked him to feed them. The king said that he was going to Thiruvidandai to see the Perumal. He will give him food once he returns. The old man said that he was starving. Even if he is able to withstand his hunger, the child would not be able to. The king decided to feed the poor man and the child instead of going to the temple. The man was none other than Mahavishnu, who had come down to test his devotion. He told the king that he need not travel all the way to Thiruvidandai every day. He will stay right here in Mamallapuram. That is how this Varahaswami came to be here. When I visited the temple this week, the priest pointed to a sealed door, which he said was the entrance to a tunnel which leads to the Varahaswami temple in Thiruvidandai. This was the tunnel the king used for his daily commute. It was apparently so large that the king used to ride his horse through the tunnel every day. On either side of the Garbhagriham, there are several beautiful sculptural panels. This is Shiva as Gangadhara. Shiva has unfurled a lock of his hair and Ganga is descending from the heavens. Like all Pallava Gangadharas, here too she is depicted as a young lady with her hands folded in Anjali Mudra. This is a simple image with no accompanying figures like the ones we saw in Kailashanatha temple and Rockfort. Next to Gangadhara is a portrait sculpture of the king Simha Vishnu along with his two queens. Next to him is this beautiful Gajalakshmi. The elephant on her right is pouring a pot of ablution over her head. The other one is in the process of lifting a pot from the hands of a lady besides him. The ladies on either side of Lakshmi hold a pot. This is a dynamic image. You can imagine the elephants alternatively pouring water over Lakshmi as the attendants replenish the pots. There is an identical image in the Varaha cave too, besides the Varaha panel. Just look at this exquisite Durga. In order to understand this panel, you need to first visit the Mahishasuramardini cave situated close to the Varaha cave. There you see Durga at war with Mahishasura. This is one of my favorite sculptures in Mamallapuram. Look at the amount of energy and action in the sculpture. Although the Asura Mahishasura looks huge and intimidating, it is quite obvious that the petite goddess perched on her lion is winning the war. Note the lady warrior below the lion's foot. Can you see her six-pack abs? Now let us get back to the Durga in the Adivaraha Swami temple. Here she is seen standing. The war is over and she has defeated the demon. Still her anger has not subsided, so people are trying to calm her. The two kneeling men besides her are singing to her. The two ganas on either side of her head are playing music. To indicate she has just returned from a battle, two of her lady warriors are also seen in the panel. You can see them on the extreme left and right side of the panel. Notice the lady on the left. She is holding a bow. To me, this is an ultimate feminist image. Women returning from battle and men welcoming them with a song. There is also a portrait image of King Mahendravarman, the same king who built the Lalitankura Pallaveshwara Griham at Rockfort, along with his two queens. He is holding the hand of one of his queens and enthusiastically pointing the god to them. One of the most puzzling things about this temple is this inscription on its floor. The inscription is in a script called Pallava Grantha, which was invented by Pallavas to write Sanskrit. The inscription says, 6 times cursed be those in whose hearts does not dwell Rudra. Why was this inscription made in a Vishnu temple? The Pallava kings worshipped both Vishnu and Shiva. In this Adivaraha temple itself, there is Gangadhara and Harihara, which are forms of Shiva. So it is indeed very strange to see such a prominent inscription on the temple floor, which vehemently curses those who don't worship Shiva. It is just one of the many unsolved mysteries of Mamallapuram. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for reminders. Please share it with your friends and like-minded people. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, I have given a link to my YouTube channel in the comment below. Please do subscribe. Until next week, Namaste.